Okay, we're changing today's video format. We're going to cover all of the exercises in just one video. I think it'll be easier for us and easier for you as you will see the sequence a little bit better. And I'll try to remember to cover the sequence and repetitions for each set and how many sets. I realize I've been failing you on that. Okay, the first exercise we're going to do, well, let me step back. Today's focus is going to be a push focus. But instead of starting off with pushing on a horizontal plane, we start off with push-ups, or we start off with the bench press, we're going to push on the vertical plane. I'll make that press all the way up, one press. Okay, as you can see, the weight is at the top of her hand, in the palms of her hand. So the kinetic chain is actually coming all the way through the muscles of our arms, down her spine, through her hips, through her knees, to the ankles, to the soles of the feet. Okay, baby, you can put that down. Don't get too tight. Okay? So, what does this tell me, or what it should be telling you? Is this exercise is much more of a total body exercise than any movement that requires you to press or move on a horizontal plane. Everything has to be turned on. Now, the best way to bastardize this exercise is to sit down on a bench, press your scapulas against the bench, a bench that's a 90-degree angle bench. And now you've eliminated all of that work that you could be getting done on a horizontal plane, on a vertical plane. Okay? The kinetic chain will then go from your shoulders to the palm of your hands. So you might as well not be doing anything. Okay, so let's get this thing started after I finish my little rant. We're gonna start off this exercise by taking the bar approximately a little bit more than shoulder width apart. Okay, it could be a little bit more, it could be a little less, but just don't go to extremes. Once the bar is in the position, as you can see, it's directly under her chin, and her forearms are perpendicular to the ground, pretty much in almost every direction. She's gonna start off this at the bottom. These are the cues. She's gonna screw her feet into the ground. She's gonna tighten her quads. She's gonna tighten her glutes. Now she has a strong foundation. She's gonna be pushing off the ground, and there won't be like a coil of spring absorbing those forces that she uses to press up off of the floor. This time she's gonna press up. She's gonna push her face out of the way of the bar. As soon as the bar clears her head, she's gonna bring her face forward and then shrug at the top. As you notice, her shoulders are down and back, and her body is a nice neutral position, especially when it comes to her spine. Okay? She's gonna bring that bar back down in the opposite that she does. Okay, baby, this time what I want you to do is when you press up, do not push your face back. Press up. See how the bar's going all the way around? Don't do that. That's bad. Okay? So what I want you to do is push your face back, bring the bar as close to your nose as possible, and press back. So the only time that the bar is moving in any horizontal plane is when she clears her nose, the bar is going to be right about here. Well, look, her shoulders are over here. So as it goes back right about here, she's going to have to start pressure back a little bit to the oblique. Ideally, the bar path would be straight up and down, but we can't achieve that because we got a face in the way. Okay, bring it back down, baby. You can go ahead and rack it. We'll move on to the next motion. Now, if you don't have a barbell, a really nice alternative is to use bands. Why bands? Remember the problem the barbell presented? That you have to go around your face? You can't go up in a straight line? That totally changes, okay? The bands provide accommodating resistance. As you can see, I've organized this in a manner where the anchor point is right about at the middle of her foot, going up in a straight line to her hands, which are a little bit in front of her shoulders. But hey, that's our anatomy. We can't actually change that. If you notice, the natural position of her hands now fall into much more of a neutral grip. Okay, before her hand was totally pronated. Now she can take a more neutral grip, which is much more comfortable and a lot safer. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, the bands provide accommodating resistance. So right here at the bottom, the bands are the least stretched they're going to be during this exercise. And the shoulders are in a very vulnerable position because they're doing approximately all of the work when we start off. Now as she presses up, everything can go up in a straight line. And the forces change as she comes back down, go about halfway, baby girl. Right about here, no, that's all the way. Right about here, the triceps really start getting engaged to help out the shoulders with this pressing movement. Go ahead, bring it down, baby. Okay, so once again, screw your ankles into the ground. Tighten your quads. Tighten up them glutes. Keep that back as neutral as possible and work it out, okay? On these vertical pressing movements, we want to do 4 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions, okay? So I've kept one promise today. Maybe I won't be able to later. Maybe I will. All right, the third version of this exercise we're going to use is the dumbbells. The dumbbells are pretty much exactly like the bands. However, the resistance is not accommodating as the weight is constantly changing, fighting gravity at the same level. Or what would you say, the same, whatever, newtons or weight or kilos. Okay, she's pressing up. She's got her entire body tight. Her hands wind up being in a more neutral position. And that pretty much concludes this portion of the video. Next exercise we're going to cover is the dumbbell press. But because our dumbbells are light and some people don't have access to heavier dumbbells, we're going to show you a technique to help intensify the dumbbell press, this horizontal movement. Okay, she's on a bench. Hands are pretty much in a neutral position, and she's going to press one arm at a time while the other one stays up at the top of the movement and alternating. What this does, this increases the time under tension. You can't add weight. We don't want to be doing 100,000 reps, which is a waste of time. By increasing the time under tension, we can make light weights a little bit heavier. Okay, honey, that's pretty much it. Hey, what's the next exercise for today's workout?
Push-ups.
Okay, the next exercise is going to be push-ups. Okay, so everyone knows how you can do push-ups off the ground, you can get on your knees or whatnot. What I prefer you to do is do push-ups off of a bench or a plane that's a little higher. Reason being, we can keep the kinetic chain long. Get on your knees, the kinetic chain ends at your knees. But right here, as you can see, kinetic chain's beginning in the palms, traveling up through her shoulders, still down her spine, but the forces are much different than when you're vertical. Her hips, her knees, her ankles, and even her toes. Okay? Once you get proficient at this, and there's no longer a challenge to execute 10 to 12 repetitions, the bar goes down a little bit more until it becomes challenging enough that natural form failure starts beginning around 10 to 12. Keep going down, down, down until you're on the ground. Once you're on the ground, you get to 10 to 12. We're gonna give you techniques to intensify the push-up. Okay, once again, first exercise that we're doing today is 4 sets of 10 to 12. The other 2 supporting exercises will be 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions. That's all for today. Until the next video when we talk about Metcons. So it's not really all for today.